welcome back to another art video. It has definitely been a while, and what perfect time to be doing an art video series than in October, because that seems to be the time when everyone on Instagram starts posting all of their new creations for Inktober's and Witchtobers, so I definitely knew this year that I wanted to join that. I swear this year we've been really spoiled for choice. There have been so many different prompts, and it took me probably a good month to finally decide on which prompt I wanted to do, and I'm really happy with my choice. So far I'm on the eighth one, I think, for the Witch's Coven, which is ran by Virtual Bunny, Vicky Illustrations and Laura's Art. I came across it a little while ago, and I mean, even just the advertisement that they used, I thought that was so cute. If I have the advertisement, I'll just put it up on the screen right now, but I loved it when I first saw it, and that's what really drove me into starting this one. It's actually my first year I think I've ever joined any sort of prompts during the October period, so I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know if it would be too much to be doing this many in a month, since normally my art pieces take probably about 3 days to a week, comfortably I would say. So I've had to be doing these ones every 3 days. I only have 3 days to do them, so it's kind of stressful if you manage to do a whole half of one and you end up disliking it and you just need to decide whether to continue with it or to throw it away. And that's happened to me twice so far, so I haven't been able to produce art pieces for the Witch prompt and the Familiar prompt. And I had really good ones for those as well, but they just did not turn out the way I thought they would. I can't even imagine the people that do it every day. That just blows my mind. The fact that artists can draw complete art pieces in a whole day is amazing to me. So props to anyone who's doing Inktober or Witchtober and you're managing to do an art piece every single day, because you need a round of applause, honestly. Maybe at some point I'll revisit them, just not in October, just after October, where I can just chill with them a little bit more, and I think that will give them the satisfaction that I actually completed all the prompts. For this particular prompt, this was the first one, so this was due on October 1st, and it was titled Cozy Witch. Unfortunately, I got my dates wrong, which is very typical of me, and I thought I had an extra 2 days left, and it turns out that October 1st was the next day. So lo and behold, I was on the first day, 1 day late. So it got posted on October 2nd. And at the end of the day, it's at least posted. I'm happy it's posted. I'm glad of the way it turned out as well. I knew I wanted to do little bits of animation, so that's why it took a little bit longer than maybe a normal drawing would. But I'm impressed that I managed to get all of this done in 1 day, and with something that would typically take about a week to make. However, because of that little hiccup at the start, it meant I had to work really hard for the next one so that I could post it on time and even try and be a little bit more organized so that I could get all of them done properly. But that's been a constant battle, trying to get ahead of everyone or get ahead of the dates, and then you end up just either being right on time or a little bit late. Another thing that I've really liked seeing every single day and just catching up on is the hashtag, because the hashtag is just filled with everyone who has a similar taste in what they like in their art, but they're all so different. You know, this Cozy Witch one, I don't think a single one was similar, which is amazing to me. I love that. And I would just sit and go through them every single day. Like, probably after this, I'll be going through the list again and just looking at everyone's stuff and commenting on their pictures. And it's just so great to see such a vast range of different styles as well. If you're interested in seeing the hashtag yourself, then it's hashtag #WitchtoberCoven21 on Instagram. So considering this is the Cozy Witch video of all of the prompts, we should probably discuss a little bit about her inspiration and where it came from. For me, in autumn, when I think of coziness and warmth, I think of pumpkin spice lattes and fires as well, roaring fires. So I knew I wanted to incorporate both of those elements into my art piece. But of course, we had to make it witch themed. So I was contemplating what sort of element could I do that would make it look and appear a bit more magical than it normally would. The whole premise of the piece is that it's a witch who's learning first grade magic and she wants to make a pumpkin spice latte but using an actual pumpkin. Which of course she needs a little spell book for, so that was the whole idea that I had in mind before I started doing this piece. Now this spell book, if you actually read it up close, it does actually have a spell on it. Most people can't see it because on Instagram it's way too small to see, but if you go onto my DeviantArt, which is 𝕊𝕦𝕡𝕡𝕠𝕣𝕥, then you can definitely zoom in and see what it says on the book. Now, drawing backgrounds has never been my forte. It's definitely something I'm still learning a lot about, and I think for the very few backgrounds that I've done, I think this is probably my favourite, or one of my top favourites. And I also wanted to include magical items around her, just to add that extra witch element to it. And if you look later on, once it's drawn, there's actually a little Easter egg in this picture. Even though this has been posted for a good number of weeks now, not a single person has clocked on what the Easter egg is, which I'm not shocked at because the Instagram, as I said, really small, can barely see things. But if you can, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you can find it, definitely leave a comment down below on what you think it is. In terms of struggles with this piece, I mean, besides the obvious time constraint, I would say the most difficult part to draw was probably the jumper. Because of all of the little rows of knitting, that was quite difficult, and I did struggle with that a little bit. And other than that, I would say probably the pose. The pose was really difficult. I'm not used to drawing full body people, and this particular pose was just really out of my comfort zone. I had a little bit of struggling with the legs. I think in the end result, it looks okay, it makes sense. I can definitely see where I need to work on, but for the first attempt doing this sort of pose, I would honestly do it again, I think. All in all, it was really fun to do this piece. I think it was probably my favourite so far. I have drawn a few more, but I think this one, I don't know, it just hits different. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's because of the background and there's so much detail in the background, but this could be my favourite. Because I've been asked that before with the other ones, but I think now I've come to that conclusion. Just from watching this again, and seeing it being drawn. Because when you're watching something or drawing something, you're with it so long you kind of get used to seeing it. So when you step back and you come back to it a few weeks later, you're like, oh wait, hold on, it wasn't actually half bad. In other news, I've been planning on doing tutorials. Now, I don't know how these will go. This seems like a lot of planning, but I kind of want to do some hair tutorials and maybe some clothing tutorials, skin detailing. So if any of you are interested in how I draw those sorts of things, then feel free to leave a comment down below just to let me know. Also, a completely different style of art that I'm kind of thinking of doing a tutorial on is pixel avatars to use for Twitch streaming, because I don't see that many personalized Twitch stream avatars. Now, since before even I started doing Twitch, I've had stream avatars, I've had my little deer, and even though it was time consuming, it really isn't that difficult to do. So maybe I could make tutorials showing people how to make their own avatars and how to make little accessories for them and how to set it up and just add it to their stream. And with that comes the end of the talking portion of my video, and I hope that you will stick around and see the rest of my art piece come to life, and at the end of this video I will put the animation as well. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!